to Zinc Education podcast, Queenies Questions. My name is Louise McQueen. Today I'm here with Mike Jones.
Hello.
The Head of Education. So Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here.
Okay. So I've been here, I think, for about 3.5 years now, coming up to 4 years. Excuse me. So I've had a lot of jobs. I've done lots of different things in my life. I used to be an actor. I've always loved drama, but I had to stop doing that because I got quite ill. That was in 2008, and so I started working in special needs education, and I realised that I just loved it. And I've jumped from job to job, lots of different schools, lots of different roles, kind of worked my way up to sort of being the head or the manager of a small therapeutic school. And then I heard about this job at Zinc, and what I loved about it was that it was a combination of art and performing arts and special needs education. So I could put all my experience as a performer, as an actor, into my new passion of teaching. And that's what we do here every day. We find ways to explore maths, science, English, history, geography, and we do it through art, and we do it through drama and performing arts. And we've got a brilliant team of people who are much better at art than I am. I can't even draw a stick man, but I can do silly voices and muck about. So that's what I do here.
When you were a little boy, did you always wanted to be an actor?
I didn't really know that you could be an actor. I always knew I enjoyed it. I started off doing the school shows from when I was really small. By the time I got to year 11, I ended up with the lead in the school play. We did Barnum, and I was Barnum, and I loved it. I think that's probably when I fell in love with it. I always liked it, but I fell in love with it. So I went off to college, sixth form college, and my theatre studies teacher changed my life. She was brilliant, and she took me aside one day, and she said, because I was applying for university, we were talking about it, and I was looking at things like floor manager, cameraman, stuff like this, and she said, you do know it's okay, that you can be an actor if you want. It is a job. People do it. Because I was from a little northern mining town. People didn't do that. So I was like, oh yeah, I could. And that changed my life. I started applying to those kind of colleges and universities, went off and did some training, and ended up doing it as a job for the first sort of 10 years of my working life.
Tell us about some of the shows that you have been in.
Okie dokie. So my first professional job was Alice Through the Looking Glass, which was what they call promenade theatre, which means it's outside, and instead of being on a stage and the scenery changes, the audience and the actors all move from place to place. It's really interesting. And I did a job over the summer in Oxford, which is where Alice from Alice in Wonderland was really from, Alice Liddell. That was beautiful. And then what did I do after that? I did a big pantomime. I've done quite a few pantomimes throughout the years, but I think a lot of theatre actors do, because it's every year it comes around, and they always do it. So I did Peter Pan with Brian Blessed. He was Captain Hook. That was really good fun. And then I can't remember, it wasn't long after that. I did a few of the little bits and bobs, and then I got my first big job, really, which was a UK tour of Blood Brothers, which is such a good show. I still love Blood Brothers today. So I did that for about a year on tour, and I was the understudy of one of the main brothers, Mickey, the poor one. So I had my own little part, and I understudied about 3 other parts, and then I did Mickey, which was awesome. After that, I did, there's bits and bobs missing out of this, but I did Blood Brothers in the West End for a few years, maybe 1.5. Then I got another job on tour. And in between that, I did a job at the Almeida, which is a very small theatre, but it's very posh. It's quite a famous theatre. And I got to work with Michael Attenborough there, and he directed us in a show called Brighton Rock. And the music was by the guy that wrote the theme tune to the James Bond films. The lyrics were by a guy called Don Black, who's really famous. They've got 7 Oscars between them, but the show that they wrote was awful. It really wasn't very good. I probably shouldn't say that. But that was where I met my wife. That was where I met Nina. So yeah, quite a mixed bag, but mainly theatre.
What do you like the best about acting performance?
I mean, there's so much I like about it. I mean, it's fun for a start. Even when I'm not acting, I still have to have a job that I think is fun. I don't know how people do jobs that are not fun, and I love it. But what I like the most about it, I think, is being able to say the things that you don't get to say in normal life. So there are times in life when you wish it was like a movie, and you wish you could say a speech or say the right things, or, you know, make everybody feel the right things. And you can't do that in life, but you can on stage. You get to say the words of great writers. You get to lift people up, or you get to tell a wonderful story. And I really like it. The best bit is when you finish a show and you know you want everybody to clap. Actually, the best thing is when they don't clap, right? Because you know you've reached people if there's silence. And then slowly everybody sort of comes back to reality, and then they go, oh, and they start to clap. Blood Brothers used to get that a lot. It's like the show ends and everybody's so emotionally like, oh. And then they remember to clap. And the longer that silence is, the better you know you've done. So I love that, yeah.
So you also written a book. Tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah. I did write a book. I'm not sure anybody's read it, but the few that have seem to like it. So it's a kid's book. It's for young adults, kind of like 9 up to like 14, 15. But when, like, everybody wants to be J.K. Rowling. So when you write a kid's book, you also want adults to like it as well. So I hope it reaches everybody. It's called The Infinite River. And I wanted to see what my brain could produce if I didn't give myself any limits. If I thought, right, whatever ridiculous, crazy, bonkers things I can think of, I need a book I can put them in. So the idea for the book is that if we live in an infinite universe, if you can think of anything, it has to exist somewhere, because that's what infinity is. And so I invented this place called The Other Place, and it was where all these crazy things that people thought of kind of come to life, because the universe is infinite. So it's about a young guy called Greenery Jackson, and he gets transported there by mistake, and it's basically a quest story. So he has to find his way home, and he meets a load of crazy characters, and they do all kinds of nonsense stuff. I've also written a couple of pantomimes, which we've performed here at Zinc, and I think you came to see a couple, didn't you? Yeah?
Yep.
You remember when we did Aladdin, didn't we? And I noticed you were on the front row. That's another good thing about doing pantos is when you're the dame, you can step out of character and talk straight to the audience. So it was really nice that I got to wave at you and say hello. Yeah, so that's my book.
And maybe you can bring it in one day to show us.
Yeah, we could do that if you want.
On the next podcast.
Yeah, great idea. Absolutely, yeah.
How do you think drama can help these SEND?
Well, you know what? I think the same way it helps everyone. I think just because people have SEN, drama doesn't help them in a different way. I think it helps a lot of people in so many different ways. The most obvious thing probably is confidence. Because getting up on stage and performing in front of people takes confidence. And for that, you need self-esteem. And a lot of what we do here at Zinc is about giving people power. But there are so many different ways. But if you think about the way that we rehearse the shows here, a lot of what we do is problem solving. How do we get that prop over to here, but it can't be seen by, X and Y? It's got to move. It's problem solving. It's memory. It helps with memory. And also, we use drama in a different way. We don't just do shows. Sometimes we'll take an idea like, well, for example, if we're learning about space, yeah, we'll make everybody pretend to be one of the planets or the sun, and we'll act it out using movements. We might pretend to be molecules or electrons, or we might get people to be volcanoes. We use it that way. But also, one of the great things about drama is that you can explore emotions safely. So let's say we have a student here. I'm going to make somebody up, okay? We've got a student here called Stuart, okay? And Stuart's really worried about his anxiety about going to the circus, right? So we can act that out with him. We can do role plays. We can go, right, well, let's pretend you're at the circus. What might you see? Oh, you might get eaten by an elephant. Well, that's not very likely. Oh, you might burn your hand on your popcorn. Well, we can look at all the things he's anxious about, go through it step by step, and help him overcome those different things. So there's loads of different ways. But again, people who are neurotypical use drama for all those same things.
Well, thank you for you, Mike, for talking to us today, and thank you for listening to my podcast. See you on the next one.